We tracked every single expense from our Great Loop and we spent
$40,501.79 over 12 months.
In this video, we're going to break down the statistics of our loop, go into everything that comprises that $40,000 price tag, explain how we were able to loop at 30, and give you some tips and tricks for budgeting and saving money while on the loop.
I want to add to this whole conversation a big caveat. There are people that do the loop a lot less expensive than what we did the loop. There are also a lot of people who do the loop a lot more expensive than what we did the loop. And so the loop can be done at many different budgets, at many different age groups. So just because we did the loop at approximately $40,000, there are people who do it less and people who do it way, way more. So there's a spectrum. To start, here's the travel breakdown of our Great Loop. We traveled 6,098 nautical miles. Our total travel time was 933 hours. We consumed 2,035 gallons of diesel. Our average fuel burn was 2.8 gallons per hour, and we had a total of 4 oil changes. So let's break down that $40,000 plus expense into a few categories that make it a little bit more tangible.
Starting with our largest category, which is groceries. It was a total of 29.35% of our overall spend. That comes out to be $11,886.68.
This was our highest category because we cook most of our meals at home on the boat. On land, you're able to do a little bit more shopping around, going to less expensive stores or finding deals. And on the loop, we didn't have the opportunity to do that as much because we were at the mercy of whatever grocery store was the most convenient to the boat, whether that was by walking or by using a marina's courtesy car. It was really dependent upon what was closest. Whenever we decided to track our expenses for the Great Loop, I was a little bit torn about whether or not we should share that or not, but I thought that it is important to share this because it's counterbalanced with our restaurant bill. So if we have a low restaurant bill compared to a high grocery bill, they are kind of not one and the same, but one affects the other. And so I thought it was important to include it. For our grocery bill, we tend to buy organic when possible, so that can increase the cost. But two, at the end of our loop, we had a significant amount of pantry items still left over that lasted us about 3 to 6 months later. So that was also a little bit inflated too.
We love to eat a good meal, so it is no surprise to me that our grocery bill was the highest category. Our second highest category was fuel. 26% of our budget was spent on fuel, which came out to be $10,567.13.
We filled up our diesel tanks about once a month, and it costed us in a range of $600 to $900.
Our third category is marinas, which accounts for 14.04% of our total budget, or $5,832.62.
Now, our marina budget is significantly less than the average looper. We'll go into this in further detail in about a minute, just so you can see our breakdown of where we stayed each night, because that really reflects in our marina expenses.
Next up, we have restaurants, which is the counterbalance to the groceries bill. It's at 8.95%, for a total cost of $3,625.35.
Let's take a minute to introduce you to the sponsor of this video, BetterHelp.
Boat life is full of highs and lows. On our loop, we had seemingly issue after issue for the first 3 months. Our bimini came apart under heavy winds, our V-belt snapped, our bilge pump sensor failed, and our dripless shaft seal wasn't so dripless. The combination of various boat projects, a tight budget, and the responsibility of having to figure it all out ourselves led to a lot of stress and anxiety.
Our thousands of miles on the water taught us valuable lessons. This is where therapy can play a significant role.
As we became more knowledgeable boaters, we also realized the importance of mental strength. While you can't predict every situation, being mentally prepared is the other side of the coin for safe boating. This is where therapy can play a significant role.
Therapy has helped us devise healthy solutions for stressful boating and has strengthened our relationships as captain and crew members. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist, trained to listen and provide helpful, unbiased advice. You'll usually be matched to a therapist within 48 hours to get started quickly. Let BetterHelp connect you to a therapist who can support you, all from the comfort of your own boat. As loopers, we experience something new on the loop every single day. So what's the risk in trying therapy?
Visit betterhelp.com/showandjoe or choose Show and Joe to sign up for a discount on your first month. Now back to our video on Great Loop expenses. The next category encapsulates all of the boat maintenance and boat projects that we had to do, like oil changes, fuel filter changes, any parts that broke, like the bilge pump that we had to replace. That was a total of 7.34%, which comes up to be $2,974.22. Next up, we have boat insurance, which was 5.23%, for a total of $2,119. After that, we have attractions/tours at 3.29%, or $1,332.31.
Some examples of this could be renting bikes on Mackinac Island or going to various museums or tours.
Next up, we have our other category, which is almost the same as our attractions and tours category at 3.29% as well, but $1,331.57.
This category was filled with the miscellaneous things that didn't fall into the other 9 categories. An example of this might have been like boat cards.
Second to last category is housekeeping at 1.01%, with a total of $408.05.
This included laundry, propane fill-ups, pump outs, stuff like that were just essential to keeping our boat a happy home.
Our last category is transportation at 0.61% and a total of $248.52.
This included either like Ubers, Lyfts, or taxis to get around town or to get us to and from getting groceries if we had a really big haul.
We have this breakdown on our website month by month where you can see the actual expense and the category. So if you're curious about others, you can go to our month by month breakdown. When going about our loop and recording all these expenses for the year, we had a spreadsheet with a bunch of formulas that we figured out worked for us. And we have a product on our store called the Great Loop Budget and Expense Calculator, filled with a simplified version of that spreadsheet, along with a budget calculator so you can kind of estimate some of these items for yourself, because some of them are based off of what kind of boat you have or you think you're gonna have, how much you like to eat out, and stuff like that.
Next, we're gonna go into our marina breakdown because that's really where we saved the most money on our loop, in our opinion. We broke down our overnight stays into 2 main categories: free nights and paid nights.
We spent a total of 229 free nights on the loop and 136 paid nights. Breaking it down a little bit more granularly, we have 98 nights stayed at a marina dock, 18 nights on a marina mooring ball, 12 nights at a paid dock or mooring, basically just not a full marina, 8 nights at a paid lock wall, 61 nights on a free dock, 7 nights on free lock walls, and a whopping 161 nights on anchor. Circling back to our marina expenses for loop, which was just around $5,800. The reason why this was so low is because we spent so many nights on anchor. Our marina stays costed us an average of $42 a night, which is definitely on the very low side for marinas, because an average marina stay is $2 a foot, which comes out to be about $100 a night for a traditionally sized boat. And the reason why this was so low is because we prioritized budget marinas, not by amenities. So our budget was kind of right around $1 a foot, and we came up at just over that because not everywhere on the loop can you find a marina for $1 a foot. In fact, it's pretty rare. So just by anchoring 161 times, if we take our average night at a marina, which was $42, it comes up to $6,900 saved by anchoring all of those nights. And really, that's very much a low estimate because there's a lot of areas in the loop that you cannot find a marina for just over $1 a foot. So that was really a huge cost savings.
After completing the loop and anchoring 161 days in that 365-day period and anchoring in a variety of different conditions, we created a course on anchoring to help other boaters learn how to anchor with confidence.
We have dialed down all of the 5 steps to anchor with confidence and know what to happen when things go wrong, because things can always go wrong. So we have 15 modules in our course, going from the absolute basics to some general what if scenarios, things that should never happen, but you should be prepared for.
If you use the word budget at checkout, you will receive 10% off the anchoring course to help you anchor with confidence.
We were about $4,000 over budget for our loop because we were originally estimating about $100 a day, and it came out to be $111 a day. So we were pretty close, but definitely it costed more than we thought it would. A couple of reasons why it was more expensive is fuel prices doubled literally the week we started the loop. And then secondly, we spent more time at marinas than we thought we were going to, whether it was because of weather, because we just really wanted to be at a marina to relax, if we wanted to take our ollie out easily, if we needed some sort of supply. Now, as for how we were able to loop while being 30, there's a couple things that kind of gets hidden in the $40,000 price tag that I feel like we should make relative. First, let me break down the entire loop cost in a month-by-month basis. And the average month on the loop costed $3,375. Now, out of that $3,375 per month, if you were living land life, a lot of that would be accounted for already. So a rent could easily be half that amount. And for us, our food budget, sure, it would be a little bit less on land because we could shop around for good deals, but it's still gonna be a lot. When all things are said and done, when living on a boat compared to living on land, you are not actually spending that much more money.
You don't have to anyway.
Exactly, you don't have to. And that is why we anchored so much, to save money. Specifically, the reason why we were able to loop at 30 is a few different reasons. The first, after college, we focused on our debt and becoming debt-free. Then we focused on saving money. We bought an old boat, and the big kicker is we worked while looping. And combined with all of that, we have to say that we are both very fortunate and privileged to be able to do the loop now, because our major responsibilities at this time in our life is mainly ollie, and ollie is the best boat dock we could have asked for. So we are very fortunate for that, and we are just generally fortunate for being able to do it at 30. So we are not trying to take that for granted at all, just trying to explain a little bit about how we were able to focus on our finances and limit our loop, not staying in a bunch of marinas, not doing everything that we could do, because a lot of days we were inside working. But honestly, we loved it. We wouldn't have it any other way. To get into our boat and how that relates to our budget, we bought a boat that we could buy with cash because we were debt-free, as we mentioned, and we wanted to stay debt-free. Now, part of that is that we didn't have a lot of cash to spend on a boat. So we bought what we could afford, and we put a lot of sweat equity to make it our optimal loop boat. And what I mean by that is we spent a few months replacing the decks, which was a lot of hard labor, which would have been tens of thousands of dollars if we had a yard do it. We installed solar and lithium batteries because we knew we needed to spend time on anchor, and to do that we needed power. We needed to be able to run our laptops to work. And we did a few other jobs around the boat, just enhancing the boat for our loop, because we didn't have that much money, but we had a lot of time. So we made sure to use our time to make our loop as good as it could be.
Now finally, here are some tips for you to save money on your great loop. 1, buy a smaller boat. The size of your boat will be reflected in your marina stays. It's directly affected because the cost of a marina typically is based off of your boat size. So if you are a 50-foot boat or a 20-foot boat, those boats are gonna have two very different bills. If you are in the earlier stages of great loop planning and you can prioritize a smaller boat, that will be reflected in saving money. Number 2 is restaurants. You can save money by prioritizing eating in on your boat, or by skipping drinks and enjoying the drinks, sundowners, on your boat.
The third way to really save money on your boat is anchoring. We've talked a lot about anchoring in this video so far, but if you didn't know, the vast majority of anchorages are free. So you don't need to pay anything to anybody to anchor. There are a very few exceptions, and then sometimes to go to shore you might need to pay, but still that's also the exception, not really the rule. And you might be wondering, where do you anchor? How do you find anchorages? And we have a product for the entire loop with 600 plus free docks and anchorages of all the places that we anchored the 161 times, and places that maybe we didn't anchor, but we definitely looked at anchoring.
Yeah.
It was our backup plan, along with a whole bunch of free docks. So make sure you check that out if you're interested in having an already vetted list of places to stay. And a lot of those we link our YouTube videos from the day, so you can even go to the specific video and like watch us entering the anchorage and see if it works for you.
We also include information about whether or not the anchorage is dog friendly and little tidbits here and there about our personal experiences at the anchorages.
Thank you so much for watching this video on our Great Loop cost. We hope you found it interesting. If you want to know more and more specifics, we have all of this information and so much more on our website. We have literally, along with the last year since getting gold editing videos, we have been writing so many blog posts on our website, just with so many details that we don't include in the YouTube videos. And if you're interested about how much we spent in a specific region of the loop, we have month-by-month breakdowns of our expenses, along with a general overall blog post about how much the entire loop costs. So you can go in, dive down to all the details. We have comments on the blog, so you can leave a comment there or leave a comment here, and we're happy to answer any specific questions that you have.
Thank you so much for watching this video, and we'll see you in the next one.
Ciao.